Okay, here we go with notes for Chapter 15, the Social Media Marketing Plan. Now, you want to keep in mind as we go through these notes that the chapter is making a lot of references to a sample social media marketing plan that is in the textbook starting on page 303, and a lot of the figures that you see in the textbook actually come from that social media marketing plan. So you can use your chapter and you can use that appendix to be able to refer to those things in conjunction with each other. Creating an informative and eye-catching title page. Title page of the plan should begin with a descriptive name for the document. Now, at the very least, something like the Social Media Marketing Plan, something that tells what the document is about. Then followed by some of the important vital information like the company name, the address, contact information, and the authors who prepared it. That's important so that if there are questions, they can be directed toward those that wrote the document. Also, don't forget to include the publication date of the document, because you want to keep in mind that the social media marketing plan is something that should be flexible, should be kind of a living document of sorts, something that can be changed as time goes along, which means there's going to be revisions and updates. So you want the publication date included in that document. Automatically generating a table of contents. This is something that you may find useful for anything that you do, really. Modern word processors provide the ability to automatically generate a table of contents from formatted section headings in the document, and depending what version of Microsoft Word or OpenOffice or Corel or whatever your favorite word processing program is, the way that you access those things is going to be different from application to application. The most efficient and safest method is to designate the section heading levels during composition. This minimizes the chance of missing important items and simultaneously creating the initial organization of the document. And this technique also makes it easy and quick to modify the structure of the plan during its preparation. You can use it to demote different sections, and mostly the way you would do that is just simply indent them in the table of contents. You can promote sections by reducing the level of indentation, which would be a Shift tab on your keyboard, and changing the sequence of sections. You can just drag and drop heading names in the panel on the left side of the document. It'll move the heading name and accompanying section to the new location. Again, the specifics on how you're going to do that is going to be different from application to application, and is something that a quick search in the help section or Googling how to do something should be able to prove that to be very easy. The other thing that it will do is it will help you to keep certain formatting. So if you want certain parts of the table of contents to be all caps, for example, or all boldface print, you can set that as you are setting those different section heading levels, as not just where you want them to show up on the page, but also the way that they look, and create a consistent look to those things. Writing a compelling executive summary. Now, this is basically going to be kind of the synopsis of everything that you are doing in this document. A persuasive executive summary highlights the main benefits and components of a social media marketing plan. Decision makers will use it to quickly determine whether the plan's ideas are worth pursuing. So you're basically trying to do, if you've heard of the elevator pitch, you walk into an elevator with somebody and you're going up a few floors. You have whatever time it takes for those doors to close and doors to open back up again to be able to sell your idea, to tell somebody what you're all about. You can think of the executive summary in that sort of a fashion, where it's just a very brief overview of what you're wanting to do and what the benefits of what you want to do is going to be. The following tips offer direction in preparing an executive summary. First off, lead with why the plan should be adopted. The executive summary should begin with a justification for management to make the investment necessary to take the actions proposed by the plan. The reasons provided should resonate and be ones that decision makers consider important. So what does that mean? That's going to be different from company to company. Largely, the things that are going to resonate and the things that are going to be considered important are going to be things that help to progress the overall vision and mission of that particular company. So if they see that a plan that is put in place very closely aligns with what it is that a brand is all about and what it is they want to achieve, they're going to pay more attention to it and give it more serious consideration. Second, keep the audience in mind. Use language appropriate for the readership. Many times these plans are going to be read by the top executives in a company, and those folks will expect business terminology that helps them to determine the value of the proposal. This is not something that is generally going to be read by the average Joe. It's somebody that's going to have a vested interest in understanding what sort of plans are in place, why they're in place, and what benefit it is to the company. Third, organize the summary to reflect the structure of the plan. Readers will expect to see a summary that mirrors the organization of the components in the social media marketing plan. Consequently, the executive summary should be written in the same sequence as that plan's components were introduced. So, if you think about it, you've got your table of contents, which is basically going to be an outline of how the document goes from start to finish. You should write your executive summary in a similar sort of way, that it highlights all the items in the plan in the same order as your table of contents, in the same order as the overall document, so that it's very easy to follow. Fourth, provide a general overview of the main components. The executive summary should provide a synopsis of the primary elements in the plan, such as a brief overview, the organization's current social media presence, the competitive analysis, the goals, the strategies, the target market, the tools, the implementation, the monitoring, the tuning, and the budget. So what you see here is that all these different elements that we're going to be talking about in more detail as we go through the social media marketing plan document, you're basically highlighting the main ideas of each of those items here in the executive summary. Again, follow the same flow that you're going to follow within the document, but basically just kind of highlight the most important thing of each of those elements that are listed there. Fifth, limit the length. A careful balance must be struck between being too brief, which could indicate a lack of thoroughness, and from being too lengthy, which might be seen as unfocused and rambling. So you want to say just enough that it shows that you've done your homework, you understand the scope of what's happening, but you also don't want to get bogged down into certain details or descriptions or things like that. Say what you need to say, but only say what you need to say. 6, include the names of the plan's authors. Again, it's important to know who wrote the document, who to go to with questions or concerns. 7th, compose the executive summary last. Writing the executive summary before finishing the plan would actually lengthen the process. Portions are typically in constant flux, that will introduce inaccuracies in a pre-written executive summary and then require that it be rewritten on a repeated basis. So it might be a good idea for you to keep a separate piece of paper to be able to jot down notes, create an outline, something like that, and do that as you're writing the rest of the document, so that once the rest of the document is written, you can go back and cover the executive summary. Composing a brief overview. This overview should not only lay the groundwork for reading the plan, but it should also stress the benefits of enacting the plan. Provide a quick look at the past, present, and the likely future of the industry, and also of the company's track record within that industry. So you want to kind of take a look at what is currently going on, and if nothing were to change, what the results of that is going to be. Second, explain the competitive advantage in order to show how the company can realize significant gains by using social media marketing. What is your competition doing? What are they doing well? What are they not doing well? How can you borrow from their playbook? How can you exploit their playbook? Do something different that will put you at an advantage. Know what your competition is up to. Thirdly, concisely list the social media actions that will be required to secure the competitive advantage. Kind of a analysis, if you will, of where you are, where your competition is, and what the action steps are to make the necessary changes in those regards. Observing social media presence, the first step in the social media marketing planning cycle that we talked about back in Chapter 2, is to listen to what people are saying about a company, thereby enabling the organization to determine its current social media presence. So you have to know what is going on out there. You have to listen to what's being said and what is meant by what is said. There are two primary ways to assess the social media presence of an organization. The first way is holistically. That's looking at the overall brand health, looking at the big picture, seeing what the current state of things as a whole is. And there's also granularly, to take stock of each individual element, to be able to say, okay, here's how we're doing in this area. Here's how we're doing in this area. We could use some work over here. We're not doing this at all. We need to concentrate on that, but to be able to look at things on a detail by detail basis. Kind of think about it in terms of if you were trying to change your diet. If overall you seem to be building muscle, gaining strength, losing weight, whatever your goals are for your health, and you're moving in a forward motion, then holistically you're doing well. But if you're not doing well, then you might take a look at the individual steps that you are taking. But how are you doing on your diet? How are you doing on your exercise plan? What are you doing in terms of taking care of your mental, your spiritual, your emotional health? All those sorts of things, and kind of troubleshooting what all those different steps are. Even if you're doing well in all of those areas, take stock of what you're doing and why they're working so well, and perhaps even look at ways that you can do even better. So looking at the granular aspects, the aspects of each individual item, piece by piece by piece, may help you to see the overall scope of what's happening in a holistic sense. 5 key metrics for auditing a company's social media presence on individual social media platforms. 1 is sentiment analysis. This shows the number of positive, neutral, or negative mentions on each social media platform where the company has a sizable presence on the web. So take a look at what the overall sentiment and feeling is from people out there online. Second metric is reach. Indicates the number of users connected on each platform. How many people do you have on Facebook that are following your page, that like your page? How many followers on Twitter? How many people connected to you on LinkedIn? And all those different platforms. That is your overall reach. Third, company posts. This measures how often the company posts on each social media platform. Are you out there on a regular basis? Are you not posting enough? Are you posting too much? What types of posts are you putting out there? Are they of quality? Are they of interest to your customer base? Fourth, feedback. This shows the number of comments, likes, or replies to company-generated content. The more engagement, the more people are going to be aware of your presence online. Finally, average response time. This assesses response time to user comments on the company's social media properties. So if you have a good response time, if you answer things rather quickly, and you solve problems rather quickly, you have a good average response time. If it takes too long and people get agitated that you don't respond, then there's a problem. Okay, so now that we've taken a look at ourselves, let's now take a look at our competition, conducting a competitive analysis. One useful way to conduct this on the social web is with an SWOT analysis. SWOT, you'll recall, stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And there's 4 different areas that you want to look for when you're looking at the SWOT analysis or the SWOT analysis. First off is the SO strategy, the strengths, opportunities strategy. The SO strategy follows social media platform opportunities that matches the organization's strengths on the social web. Second is the WO strategy, the weaknesses opportunities. Overcome weaknesses in social media platform performance to follow opportunities on the social web. Okay. Thirdly, the ST strategy, the strengths threats strategy. Identify ways the organization can use its platform to reduce its vulnerability to external threats from competitors or new technologies on the social web. And then there is the WT strategy, the weaknesses threats strategy. Create a protective strategy that reduces the chance the organization's social media weaknesses will make it vulnerable to external threats. So, a good, thorough SWOT analysis should always be part of a social media marketing plan because of its substantial contributions to crafting effective strategies for achieving marketing goals. It helps you to see where you truly are, what you're doing well, what you're not doing well, what sort of things could compromise where you are at this point or what it is you're trying to do, and to have plans to deal with all of those things. Setting goals. General social media goals provide a good starting point for crafting organization-specific goals. And the book lists several different goals here that you may include. There might be others as well, but you might have goals of brand building, creating awareness of who you are and what it is that you're trying to do. Might have a goal of increasing customer satisfaction, to be able to provide that immediacy of being able to help clients with their needs, solve their problems, that sort of thing. Driving word of mouth recommendations, trying to create content in such a way that it makes people want to share. Fourth, producing new product ideas. You can poll your audience to see what they think about a new product or service, or ask people out there certain things that they need that might give you ideas for creating a new product or service. Generating leads, asking people to recommend you or to recommend others that they know to you so that you can reach out to them with what it is you have to offer. Crisis reputation management, being able to respond to the critics and respond to people that are dissatisfied for one reason or another. Integrating social media with public relations and with advertising. This is a way to be able to reach out to people that is far different from the normal advertising scheme and can help to complement an advertising scheme that is put out there. And finally, search engine optimization. The things that you have to offer when you put yourself out on the web, make it easy for the algorithms and search engines to be able to find your content. The process of adapting these overall goals to take advantage of a particular organization's unique opportunities will no doubt involve revising, integrating, or dropping a few of these goals. Again, you're creating a living document. You're creating something that as you're going along, and we'll talk about what it is to review and evaluate and to tweak, and those things need to be going on and on a rather regular basis. So just because you put something down on paper doesn't necessarily mean it won't change over time.